Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
It's probably better if you cannot. Sorry for the distraction, but you know, not to pat ourselves on the back, but for John and me, you viewers, you know, I mean, you always take priority over everything else because we appreciate, you know, you all watching what we do, and you made us whatever we are. I'm not sure what that is, but we appreciate it. It's great to be here, first of all, and with so many like-minded folks here in one place, so many cool guns. Looks like a really dangerous place, but of course we all know it's not, don't we? And as someone said earlier, it's probably the safest place in the country right now because these guns don't do anything we don't want them to do. And a lot of you, I've met a lot of you, and so I know a lot of you watch the videos. There's some of you probably out there wondering, okay, who's that guy? So you'll probably be sorry. You folks that watch the videos know I can ramble, so I'm dedicated. I am convinced I'm not going to do that today, and I made just some notes on the way up here. So if you see me not looking at my little scribblings here, you'll know I'm off into ramble land, so you fire a shot off or something and remind me to get back on. So I don't want to take too much time, but I did tell Carolyn I'd say a few words. Mainly just wanted to come up and be a part of it. And so now I have to you know, be nervous about speaking to the group, but that's okay. You know, if you've seen the videos,
3 million subs.
not to expect much, right? Yeah. By the way, how many, do we have anybody from Kentucky here came up? Oh, we don't, okay. We got one or two? Okay. Did you get the VHS tapes I dropped off on the way up of our videos? Okay. I keep them supplied. But yeah, it was fun coming up, and I came up early yesterday, got up really early, and hit a couple of gun shops yesterday here in town, and actually bought a gun, so it's your all's fault, it's not mine. If I had to come up here, it wouldn't have happened. You guys blame me all the time. I've had about 10 people blame me, or more than that today already, for guns they have bought. Well, I blame you all for one I bought yesterday. I just can't stay out of gun shops. So again, I'm not a speaker, y'all know that. I just do stupid videos and the stream of consciousness videos, uncut, unedited, and nothing slick. And maybe that's why people watch them, I don't know, but so you know not to expect too much. So some of you probably wonder who I am, and again, and all of you wonder maybe why I'm up here. I'm really nobody special at all. I'm not running for office or anything. And so there's no pressure on me. You know I'm not too smart, so there's not a lot of pressure. That's the only reason I was willing to get up here. But none of us really is all that special. We're just regular folks. We want to be left alone. We're patriotic. We go about our work. We go about our jobs. We're good to our neighbors. I mean, there's probably somebody in the crowd that's a little bit obnoxious, you know, but we won't mention any names, right? But there he is over there. He's going to admit to it. It's my brother-in-law, yeah. But I mean, really, guns are so mainstream now. I say that all the time. We all know that. Everybody seems like, not everybody, but so many people are into firearms, and you have date nights at indoor ranges, and it's just so widespread that there are going to be some people that, you know, that obnoxious brother-in-law, you know, occasionally. Everybody is not going to be a good citizen, maybe, but I tell you, most people I have found, and I'm sure you all would agree, who are into firearms as a hobby and shoot or even get a carry permit or whatever, they tend to be just good people, don't they? You know? Yeah. And it's kind of cool. I mean, I see it over and over and over again my entire life. And then, of course, with this crazy YouTube thing, we have 3 million subscribers, and I hear from hundreds of people a day, and so I see the messages, even though I can't answer them all. And I mean, there's obviously a few obnoxious trolls around the internet, imagine that. But for the most part, just good folks looking for information, just like all of us here. And so it's a great fraternity. It's a great fraternity of people. We know that. Unfortunately, the gun banners don't know that. I hesitate to say the left and the liberals. I do use those terms sometimes. I hate to. We're in kind of a unique position where, you know, with all the input we get and the people we're in contact with day in and day out, this country, around the planet. And you all know what I'm talking about, but I hear from people pretty often who tell me, hey, I'm a liberal, but I like guns, and I shoot, and I don't want more gun control. I really do. Some of you are probably surprised to hear that, but I do hear that a lot. And, you know, it's hard to know how to react to that, because if you look at all the gun bans that are proposed, you know, where do they come from? You know? And I hate to slam Democrats, because I'm not into party politics. I lean libertarian more than anything. So I hate to get into party politics, and I don't want to criticize them for being a Democrat, you know. The fact still remains, of course, that's where most of the gun bans come from, you know. But again, we don't want to alienate some potential shooters and some little groups of people within, say, the Democratic Party, because I would love for a lot of those people to get into firearms. The more people from the left, quote unquote, who get into firearms, or Democrats, or however you want to phrase it, liberals, the better off we are. Because you know what happens once you get a gun, or you get several guns, then all of a sudden you have to be a little political, don't you? Because guess what? Here they come after my gun, you know? And so that's got to be an enlightening thing for them at some point. But here I go, getting off track. But anyway, the reason I thought I would say a word or two, I do have maybe a slightly unique perspective on things, not just because of the YouTube channel and being in touch with so many different people, a variety of people every day, but you know, I was a teacher, and of course that's a topic of conversation these days with the Florida shooting and others. I taught for 29 years, many of you already know that, and I was in middle school most of the time. It was always kind of funny when I was competing at shooting matches and things, and I did pretty well. I didn't win every match, but I did pretty well, and you know, people didn't know me would say, hey, what do you do? They expect me to say I'm a veteran, or I'm in the military, or I'm in law enforcement or something. So what do you do for a living? And I said, I teach middle school. And they would look at me, yeah, right, that's pretty funny. And they wouldn't believe me, you know. And, but yeah, I taught middle school for about a quarter of a century in private schools, but middle schoolers are crazy no matter where they are, right? And that's how I got along, because you know, you notice the twitch and everything. I was crazier than they are, so it worked out pretty well. But anyway, I have experience in the classroom in those gun-free zones for almost 30 years, 15 of them post-Columbine. And so, of course, that was on my mind. I couldn't help it. I taught in a school that, even though it was a private school, but I guess it was much like, apparently, the Broward County School. You know, it was upscale. I just left it 5 years ago. You know, lots of times that's where these weird things happen. You know, it's not as often in the inner city. It's in good neighborhoods sometimes, and it's, you know, sometimes those are the kids that get the most twisted, you know. But anyway, it was on my mind. I wasn't losing sleep over it, but you couldn't help think about it, especially as an avid gun owner. You know, so here I am, a teacher, and one of the biggest gun nuts, quote unquote, on the planet. So it was a little bit of a juxtaposition, I guess. An English teacher of all things. I shouldn't have said that, and I expect me to use good grammar, but so, you know, so I was kind of weird. I've always been a little weird, out of place, not many peers, I guess. Here I am, you know, AR-15s and all kinds of firearms, and I love to shoot. We okay here? And there we go. Gun owners are just good people. We help people out here. Yeah. I'll be all right. All right, he was just reacting to something I said that was so amazing there. But anyway, I do have that perspective, and I know I speak for you all. When Sandy Hook occurred, and then of course the Florida shooting, how many of you have kids, for example? A show of hands. How many have worked with kids or have kids, you know, Sunday school or just whatever it is, part-time teacher? You know, people who have never taught, who have never done that, they don't really fully understand it. The reason I came back to teaching after 10 years off, I missed it. And the reason I was able to do it for 23 years of my second stint was I just enjoyed it so much. you really get attached to the kids. Those kids you have in your classroom, day in and day out, they really do become like your own. That's not just a cliche. Anybody any teachers out here? Let me see a teacher. We got a few teachers. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? They're like your own children. You get to know them. In fact, it's almost better. It's like your grandchildren because you get to send them home at the end of the day. You don't have to change diapers, or you don't, let the parents do most of the discipline if they are doing any discipline these days. And but you really get to know them. You watch them play sports. I used to drive as often as I could to go see them play their volleyball games and even the cheerleading competitions, the basketball, the football. Talk with them about it the next day in class, and you just get really close to them. And so when we see things like Sandy Hook and like what happened in Florida, if you have a heart at all, it just rips you apart. Whether you're a gun owner, or not, it's just, you don't even want to imagine what happened. You have difficulty going there. Now I know the gun grabber, the gun banners, they think that anybody that has a firearm today, especially an AR-15 or something, they don't have hearts. And we just value our fun over people's lives or something, but it's just not the way it is. You just don't even want to think about it. It's so horrible. And they just want to focus on the guns, of course, and they have their knee-jerk reactions, and and they want to talk about how dangerous the guns are. Well, I got a news flash for them, and that is that, guns are dangerous. The AR-15 is dangerous. And it had better be. That's why we have them. The Second Amendment means nothing if these guns aren't dangerous. Duh. I mean, that's what it's about. And I've said many times through the years, the AR-15, there are probably firearms I enjoy more than the AR-15, even though I have 7 of them. I take them all for a boat ride every weekend on the Cumberland River. If you're familiar with Nashville, I do. Most of my guns go with me because I just don't trust leaving them at home. And I know that one weekend they'll all end up in the river. I'll capsize, and so I won't have them. So just want to get that on record. But
it's okay too.
they're meant to be dangerous, or we don't have a Second Amendment. If we don't have something we don't necessarily need a lot more than that. Look at Afghanistan, all the world powers that have tried to take them over. A bunch of characters in the mountains, you can't seem to do it, right? But it's mainly the deterrent. It's a deterrent. It's so that no one even thinks about messing with us too much, right? So there's nothing wrong with an AR-15 or an AK-47 in our hands at all. They are a deterrent. So while we focus on the silly things, the firearms, meanwhile the schools are not necessarily hardened up and made safe like they should be. That's my big thing. 3 weeks ago, 2 days after this happened, you might have seen my post on Facebook, every superintendent, school official, board member, whoever is in charge, budgets and all of that, should have been staying up late, burning the midnight oil, figuring out how they could get some money together. Get it from us. I don't mind paying more taxes for that. And not
absolutely
at all.
Right.
All the stupid uses of taxes, but that I'll pull out my wallet, get the schools safe. I don't whether I know the kids or not. I want them secure. They're forced to go to school. They should be safe in those buildings. So the first step, is just lock the barn. Don't let the cow. You got to take care of things, and that's a physical thing. Get some more armed security in there. Get the windows hardened, the doors. Do it now. If a shooting happens tomorrow, for example, what's today? Well, it'd be Monday or Tuesday. If it happens somewhere in the country on Monday or Tuesday, the media, I've seen some ABC and some media here, they need to run to the school board members in that district or that private school, whoever it is, they need to get them on camera that day and ask them, okay, where have you been? Florida 3-4 weeks ago, and all the other events that have occurred. What did you do last week and the week before to make your kids safer? Tell me about it. I want to start here. Okay, so here's the microphone.
Yep.
Tell us what you did. We're just curious what you did after all of that. Oh, you didn't do anything? you know? So we got to do something. And I'm a wrap up, but it just bothers me to no end that we're not doing anything and we're talking about firearms. So anyway, the main thing I'll leave you with is we just need to stay active as you all are and make sure everybody you know is being active on social media and everywhere you can, because it's awfully difficult to change the other side's mind. So we just got to make sure we're extremely active and we're voting for the right people. And we know why the Second Amendment's there, what it's about. It's not about hunting, and it's not about target shooting and all the things that I do. It's to protect, of course, the country and the Constitution, and we know what that's all about. And when we're not diverted by all those discussions about how the AR-15 is no good for hunting and it's all that silly stuff, right? So keep doing your part. John and I keep doing what we can, and everybody has their part to play. And again, I just appreciate y'all doing this and putting up with me talking, and appreciate y'all watching our videos. So glad y'all came out today. Thanks.